Here's what I know a lot of people struggle with. I owned a gym for a long time, trained a lot of individuals, moms, dads, athletes. One of the biggest things people want to figure out how to do is, how do I get in better shape? How do I lose fat? How do I gain muscle? How do I? And today I'm going to give you guys some insights on how to do that from a physiological standpoint. So logic comes in. It's not this, well, my mom's sister's cousin took this pill that she found on the street one day. Like, we're not going to go off in some tangent, okay? And I'm not going to talk about nutrition because that's something you should consult your doctor about or find somebody who can help you there. Here's what I will say about nutrition. Stop eating trash. There you go. Hey, we got a solution, right? If you go into the grocery store, don't go searching in the areas that are the middle of aisles or the middle of the grocery store. Go to the outsides, the upper and the lower. Why? Because the companies that want you to eat the garbage food, they pay a lot of money to be in that middle aisle. So when you go into the store, if you're like, Anthony, I don't know what to eat the things you're not currently eating if you're unhealthy. Ready? We solved that one? Good. Look at it. Moving on. So here's what we're going to talk about. There is this concept around like fat loss that most people don't grasp. And if you actually, what I'm going to teach you, if you understand this, you're going to understand why and see why certain programs and training methodologies have worked for people to get strong, to get to lose weight, all that stuff. So if you've had like these troublesome abilities to lose weight and all that kind of fun stuff, you will understand how the body works right now. So first things first, you have to find something you like to do. I'm going to preface this. When it comes to exercise, the biggest, I think, issue that people run into is they go and find, well, Susan across the street and Nick down the street, well, they got treadmills and he has a kettlebell. I'm going to go buy a kettlebell. I'm going to go buy a treadmill. You know what it becomes? The treadmill becomes a very expensive clothes hanger in your garage. And I guarantee somebody right now has one of these things sitting there. Why? Because you don't like running. So don't go run. And you could go run outside, by the way. So find something you love to do. This comes with trial and error, right? Find an actual exercise you enjoy doing so it's not a chore. It will be hard, but it doesn't need to be a chore. Now, as we progress, I'm going to talk to you about what's called the 3 areas, or the trifecta of fat loss. And this actually it's scientifically proven. This isn't some bro science. I'm not making something up here. You'll understand how it works. So here is the first stage in how our body will actually help us burn calories. Have you guys ever heard of the concept of fast twitch, slow twitch muscle fiber? Anybody heard of this before? Beautiful. There's actually multiple different fiber types. I want to say around 5 or 6, but we just simplify and go fast twitch, slow twitch. The difference is fast twitch muscle fiber, it's going to draw a lot of energy. I can use it for a short amount of time, but I'm a fatigue quick. This is going to be like sprinting, lifting heavy weights, that kind of stuff. Slow twitch says, look, I don't have a lot of power, and I don't take a lot of drain, like I don't pull a lot of calories, but I can go for a long time. This is jogging. This is going for walks. This is movement over any kind of distance that's not at max effort, around like 30 seconds plus. Now, we're not going into energy systems today. Whole different conversation. Just keep in mind fast twitch, slow twitch. So what the science shows is that I can go in and say I did a slow twitch muscle fiber workout that took me an hour to get done, and I burned maybe 500 calories. What happens for us is 2 things here. One is I'm burning calories and it feels great. But then when I'm off the treadmill or I'm off walking, my body stops burning calories. It's a problem. It's good, but like I'm only sore for a little bit. I got a sweat on and I'm good and I stop burning calories, which is, it's not beneficial. There's ways you can fix this, right? But the idea is like, I did a whole workout. I want to have some added benefits. This is why what's called fast twitch muscle workouts come into play. And there's multiple kinds of ways to do it. This is anything that's full exertion for you. This could be a sprint. It's lifting weights. This is why CrossFitters do this stuff, high intensity. And here's why. In an hour's workout, if I did it in a slow twitch and I burned 500 calories, follow me with the math, people, I could actually work out 30 minutes, half the time, and burn those 500 calories with fast twitch. So what I'm saying is you can burn the same amount of calories in less time, sometimes more, in fact, in less time. This is why people who seem to be in crazy good shape, where are they always at? They're in the weight room. Do you know why gyms have cardio theaters with TV screens and cool little stuff? Because they know that if they get you to come hang out there, you're not going to get in shape. So guess where you have to keep going? To the gym. Consistently for years. It's a business. They want to make money. They make beautiful cardio theaters. They tuck the gym rats in the corner, but those people look like they're in the best shape because the workouts that they're doing. Now, you do not have to go do their workouts. Everything has a progression. Again, choose something that resonates with what you like to do. Hire somebody who knows more about it than you know about it, but find someone and find workouts that will allow you to burn more calories in less time. And then here's why the benefit is. When you get done doing a fast twitch exertion kind of workout, you in fact burn calories up to 42 hours past your workout. This is the second stage of the trifecta. Who's ever lifted weights or done some runs and got sore for like 5 days and couldn't walk? Yeah. I got the hands up, right? That's because your body's still recovering. So what happens is my body is still moving. It's still recovering. I'm sleeping. It's still burning calories. So a treadmill, getting off a treadmill, I got a good sweat. I got hot, good for cardio, helps the heart, but it's not going to help me burn fat, not going to help me tone muscle, right? So the idea is like, if you really want to burn some fat, tone, build some muscle, the idea isn't to do a treadmill. It's to do something that's a little bit heavier weights than you're used to doing at your own relative level. And then the in-between portion, when the body is recovering, you're still burning calories. Now, here's the third piece that few people think about. And here's why individuals who start out with workout routines, they get to that point of like, I've been working out for a month and I got no results. Back to their burritos. Like it didn't work. I'm just going to go and, back and eat some, because we're like, it's not working. And here's why. What happens in the third stage of the trifecta is called a resting metabolic rate, RMR. Right now, every single person on here has a metabolic rate at rest, which means sitting here, while you're sitting here, you're burning calories. You're burning calories while you sleep, you're burning calories in any way. Just sitting here, your body is churning. It's why your body gets hungry, right? If you just sat and did nothing, you'd at least get hungry. Body's still doing something, right? And here's the unique thing. The more lean muscle mass you have on your body, the higher your resting metabolic rate, the higher your body's rate of burning calories is at rest, which allows you to work out. So if I work out with heavy weights, I'm burning more calories in less time. I'm then having the in-between of recovery, still burning calories. And then once I've recovered and I have that nice, fresh, lean muscle, I'm burning more calories at rest doing nothing. So when I talk about the ramp up that first month, your body hasn't got all 3 tiers ticked in yet. Most people just stop too early. They say, this isn't working. I've done it for 30 days. It's not going on, right? And what happens is because you didn't let the body get past the sore point, get to the point of having lean muscle. So here's what happens. When I got more lean muscle, what can I do? Well, I'm a little bit stronger. I got less body weight. I can do a harder, heavier workout. Maybe I can do some pull-ups now. I can do heavier weights. So I degrade the muscle even more and I have to recover even more. And then I got more muscle and I'm stronger. So then I can actually lift heavier weights and I can do harder workout. See how it works? So the whole role for people that want to build muscle and burn fat, it's not only the nutrition. It's a huge piece because you have to have the right nutrition in order to actually get a good workout in. Actually, I took Brendon's Optimize today, right? You got to have good things in your body. On top of that, you've got to have the ability for yourself to recover in between with the right nutrients. And you have to have the right stuff in your body to actually maintain that lean muscle mass. So the whole trifecta works in this way. And so what you have to do is give your body time to catch up. And then all of a sudden, it'll start shedding fat and building muscle like crazy because it gets past those intro ramp up points. So for example, if anybody's been on my Instagram anytime in the last, I don't know, like 5 months or something, when I started the beginning of this year, I was a lot bit bigger than I should have been. I didn't have any speed. Brendon, I couldn't go on Brendon's stage, so I didn't have any reason to get in shape. So I was at home just eating up that healthy food. It was so good. Holidays, I had to see anybody. Oh, you guys, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so I just ate a bunch of food. And let's give you a little bit of a reference. When I was playing in the NFL, I weighed at most 240 pounds, and I had 12% body fat. When I weighed in on December 31st of 2020, I weighed 250 pounds and I was about 27% body fat, 25, 27. Yeah. Yes. I'm not there now. I lost it. All right. So at the beginning of the year, I was like, I got to do something about this. So I started this program and I wanted to lose a bunch of weight. I was like, I got to get the weight back down, but the muscle back up. I know that guy's in there, just like you. The body is in there for yourself. And I knew this in my head, how this works. So the first few weeks, I'm building. I'm doing hard workouts, and I'm dying, by the way. Like, I'm not as young as I used to be. My body knows that. And the recovery, I had to eat the right food. Then I had to keep drinking water, and I would be sore. I wasn't going, right? In the first probably 30 days, I might have lost maybe 10 pounds, From the next 30 days to the next 45 days, that window, I lost 27 more pounds. It wasn't in the beginning. It doesn't happen at first. It doesn't happen immediately, right? And I say all this stuff so you get a grasp of like, it takes time. And what's unique about this is like the body will ramp up, and then here's what's crazy. It's actually harder for me right now to gain weight. I've tried to eat some stuff. I actually got down so low that I was like, I got to get back, but my body is churning so fast, the resting metabolic rate, it's hard to get back. Welcome to my world, people. So this is, This is going to be fun. I probably have maybe one framework today, but I believe that something with relationship, because it's such an intimate tie to our humanity, that stories I can tell you will resonate better. And I hope that within the stories, you see yourself as one of the characters or the people or the individuals involved. And in that process, you can extract something and go, oh, okay, I get it. So I'm going to take you back into time. So it's 2000. I was hanging with my buddy Vinny, because my buddy Vinny's a professional skater back, and I was in high school. It's, the cool kids hang out with the cool guys, and he's a professional skater. And then there was this one time I went with my buddy Byron, who introduced me to Vinny. We went to this weird court to hang out. Now, this is Antioch. This is back in my hometown. I'm like 16, 17. And I'm just going to tell you guys, I was not the most savory character. I wasn't even saved at this time. Wasn't doing crazy stuff. But I remember, like, we pulled up into this weird court, and my buddy Byron had this jug. You guys ever seen a gallon jug of Carlo Rossi wine? He had this gallon jug. He used to walk around downtown Antioch with it. Oh my gosh. And he was like 16. I don't even know how he got it. And anyways, we end up in this court, and my buddy Byron introduces me to this girl. And it's the only girl that's there. Her name's Christina. She goes to the same high school. I don't really know her, but like, I just meet her and talk, and no big deal. Well, for the ensuing months, we end up hanging out a lot. We end up, we're in the same friend group. We get to know each other. At one point, my buddy Christian was like dating her, and then he wasn't dating her, and then like still in the same friend group. And then I don't know, fast forward, at some point, we're hanging out at my buddy Vinny's house, we talked about, and I probably had a couple sips of that Carlo Rossi wine, we'll call it. And so I'm sitting there. I remember I was on the couch, and this girl comes up. We start talking and chatting. It's Christine. And next thing you know, like we kissed a little bit on the couch. We'll leave it at that. That's literally all it went. We just kissed on the couch. We're little kids. Don't do dumb stuff. And fast forward, like a year later, I don't know how it happens, but we're dating. Like we're dating. This is like my girlfriend. And I, growing up in foster care, have this weird tie to like the female in my life, so much so that at the end of the day, like the woman that's closest to me is really close to me. Like it's an attachment to my heart. I think there's just some space, and it holds itself because my biological mom, she just was distant. So I've always desired to have that kind of female presence in my life. And when it's there, like I'm locked in. And so like this girl at 18 years old, 2 years after that night on the couch, we'll call it, I was sitting there, and I was in a car with her. Now, this is the thing that I realized. In high school, I wasn't the most academically sound person. In fact, my family, we didn't really do academics. I was one of 6. We were really poor. My mom and dad, they didn't graduate from the high school, I don't believe. My siblings, of all of us, I'm one of 6. I'm the only one who actually graduated from the high school, not continuation, not GED. And here's why. I had an opportunity to play college football, and I wasn't academically ready for it. But this girl I befriended, I was dating, was like a 4.1 GPA. So I'm that kid that her mom and dad are like, why are you hanging out with this athlete who gets bad grades in sports? She was like, he's a good kid, I promise. And I was a good kid. So we're sitting there, and like we would go every night back to her house, and she would help me do calculus. Like, or was it calculus? No, stats. It might have been stats in high school or something. I had to figure out how to get my math stuff done, because I did not know, and I was like a year behind. But if I got it dialed in and I got a better grade, I had a chance at a scholarship to go play football. So every night we would go through homework, and she seriously would sit there and like walk me through this stuff. And eventually I got a better grade. I get an opportunity to go play college football at University of Oregon, probably solely because she sat down and taught me how to study, taught me how to learn, taught me how to get better grades. So I go to college, we do the long distance thing. It doesn't work for me. I'm not really enjoying the distance, but I'm locked into her so much so, like, I don't talk to women. I don't do anything. In fact, at 18 years old, when she came up to visit me for a game, I proposed to this girl at 18 years old. So fast forward 9 months, I'm doing long distance. We don't like it. She's like, you know what? I found out your college, Oregon, has the degree that I want. I'm at UC Davis. I hate it here. And so we end up progressing into this thing where it's like, maybe you come up here. Yes, Nancy, go Ducks. It's like, maybe you come up here and go to school. Her family's like, I don't know. Do you really need to go up there to go to school? She's like, it's a great school, #2 in the country for this. And so she makes a choice. Her family says, just don't get pregnant. Go up there, don't get pregnant, take care of school, be focused, good to go. I have a 16-year-old son. So about 6 months after she got up there, we got pregnant. Oh man, don't do this. Don't tell your kids to do this either. Not a good recommendation. So fast forward a couple of years, I go to the NFL. I'm in the NFL. She's back home taking care of our son, and she's a trooper. She graduates with a 4.2 GPA, summa cum laude, with her master's in special education. The chick's a beast. The actual quarter that she had our son, she still got a 4.0. monstrous. And we're away from home. We're in college in Oregon. We're from California. So like, she's just, you get it. She's dope. So we're living this life, doing this thing. And I go to the NFL and we're doing the distance thing in the NFL. Ups and downs is tough, you know, because I'm gone like 7 of 10 months. Typically, I'm not really home that often, but we go back and forth. We communicate when we can. She's pretty much a single mom at home with me sending paychecks home. And it gets to the point where like I eventually NFL ends because NFL stands for not for long, in case you didn't know. Now, here's where the story gets to the point of why we're talking about it today, my friends. And I'm going to give you the good goods that are not that good. So I'm sitting here in these moments, you know, I come back from the NFL. I have a massive identity crisis. I don't know who I am. I've lost the sense of self as Anthony. And I'm sitting here in this moment. And I'm going, who am I without football? And so I neglect the rest of my life. I've talked about the fruit of the labor, right? The fruit of my labor was football. And that one piece of fruit I was focused on, and I lost sight of the fact that I was a tree. And so what happened is I didn't give the nutrients to the tree. I didn't take care of the other branches on the tree. I didn't take care of the rest of the fruit. So when I'm focused on football getting lost, my business is failing. My marriage is failing. I'm not a present father. I'm getting out of shape. And I get to the point where I eventually have the situation where like I'm completely separate from my wife at this point. We were tight. I mean, so close. We knew everything, felt everything. And then it was like a stranger almost. And it got to the point where I'm in Hawaii and we're on this vacation. And I end up finding on her phone that she'd been texting somebody else. And the somebody else was another guy. And come to find out that my wife, the one I'd known since 16 years old, is having an affair. And I'm not going to go emotionally back there with you, but just know it hurts. Because if you've ever experienced that, it's painful. It's a different depth of pain. And it's also, I don't know if it's different for me because like, that's my world. Like this was my family. This is my wife. This is, you know, and we also had twins. So at this time we had 2 more kids. We had 3 kids and my world is now coming tumbling down. And I get to this point where we're going to tell you the truth, man. Got to the point where I wasn't a present father. I wasn't playing football. My marriage was on the outs. My family was falling apart, and being a foster kid, not having a family, like when I had it, being ripped away was probably the depth of pain that I can't put into words. And I remember feeling like I don't want to be here. Like if this is going to be life after the game, it's what I got to experience. Like, I'm cool off this. I don't want this to be my work. I don't want to be here. And now thankfully I didn't do anything to take my life, but like that was a very clear and present thought for a moment. So for what I call the next like 6 years, I had what was called the fog. The fog is that time when you get up and you have no idea what to do that day. This fog lasted from 2012 until 2016. It was a tough one. Because we had the whole situation of like in 2010, the divorce was finalized in 2012. So I was like separate from like 2011, like 2016. And here's what took place in 2016. And I'm gonna tell you this as the truth, the aspects of Anthony, you got to know him. Because if you get to know me, you got to realize like I'm not proud of these moments, but these are moments that give you a sense of my humanity. So like when you are with somebody for so long, you want to be with somebody. And so I found myself for the first time in my life having multiple partners. Like I'd have women I would talk to, and I was always respectful and kind of like, hey, I'm not trying to be in a relationship. But to be honest, like I would give of myself and it would drain me and I had nothing and I felt empty and I felt shameful. Like there was a day where I woke up on January 1st, 2016, and I was laying next to a strange woman from Russia of all places who had come because I went out and give a speech there. And I went into the bathroom and I looked myself in the mirror and I had this wave of like hate, shame for the man looking back at me. Like, I don't know if you've ever been here, but the relationship we have like with ourselves is one that's difficult and it's hard if you don't like being alone with yourself. I had this reality that I am the common denominator in all of my problems. And in fact, the common denominator in all my relationships. Now, the relationships that I'm going to talk about, there's going to be different ones. There's one with, I'm telling you, my intimate relationship with my wife. There's the relationship with as a parent. I wasn't a present parent. I would find ways to miss, baseball and soccer and football games because, well, I'm busy or I'm traveling somewhere. I got this going on, or I book clients. I would book clients because, to be honest, I didn't want to have to go to the game and feel the shame of me knowing I hadn't gone to the previous game, or have to possibly find her with the next boyfriend that she's with and have to see some man holding my daughter's hand walking down the game, like these little things that happen. And so I would find myself not being a present father. My relationship with my clients was interesting because my focus wasn't on how to be a great trainer. It was like, how do I don't know, find the next girl to hang out with? You know what I mean? Like that's the energy is in different places. And so because I wasn't centered with the relationship of Anthony, none of the relationships navigated themselves well. They all came tumbling down, we'll call it. And I woke up in this January timeframe, and I finally had this realization of, dude, you got to do something to figure yourself out. And I did. I did something that I think everybody at some point in time, if you've been in those funky places, you need to do. And it led to me having some positive pieces. But here's the first thing I did. I asked myself all the questions I did not want answers to. For example, Anthony, why aren't you a good father? Anthony, what was your role in that marriage falling apart? Anthony, how come you're not showing up in the business? All these things. Anthony, why are you out of shape, man? Why? I used to have a gym, and I would cover my belly with the sweatshirts with the logo of the gym, so I would have to show it. It was baggy clothes. I could hide the belly. I worked and trained in a gym all day, yet I did not look like it. You know what I mean? And it was this thing where I had this interesting internal conversation always running, and I never wanted to deal with the conversation. So I did is I went internal. I finally asked these questions, and it provided answers I did not want to hear, to be quite honest. I love the concept of leadership, and I'm going to unpack for you, like I always do, my weird random thoughts that have a direction that hopefully you can grab a nugget from and do something cool with. And so leadership, I'm going to change it because my words shift. So I said, I'm going to call it leadership. You get it? Leadership. That's my jokey sound right there. That's my jokey sound. So I'm going to talk about leadership because my big thing is shifting. And I want to think about shifting perspectives, right? Shifting the way we see things, hear things, experience things, because I think that's how life changes. I think we have those moments in time where we are in some moment presently aware of how we're doing things or how we are acting or how we're operating. And when met with that moment, we go, ooh, it's time to change something. It's time for something to shift and something to adjust. So now I'm going to tell you briefly my story if you have never heard it before. I got to a point in my life where I'd gone through a whole lot. I went through foster care as a kid. I had this weird diversity issue of growing up in an all-white family, not really feeling anchored anywhere. And at that time, I felt like a leaf in the wind. I didn't do a great job of leading myself, to be quite honest. And so I kind of was just ending up in the direction of leading towards being a statistic of foster care, which is not very good statistics. They're kind of difficult. They're not that great. Anyway, so there's that part of my life. And then I go from that point where I'm stepping into the stage of, all right, well, now I'm this foster kid who's now adopted. And I got to go into this realm of being the adopted kid. How do I show up here? And I kind of was just still a leaf in the wind trying to figure things out. And I had a moment where I decided to take some kind of control of myself, and it helped me get better at the game of football. But I really only applied it to football because I was 15 years old. What were you doing at 15 years old? You weren't trying to change your life. Neither was I. I want to get better at football. So I applied it there. Progressed to the next stage of my life. I went to college football, had a great opportunity to play at a high level. And then I had a kid. And then it gets different. Because if any of you guys are parents out there, when you have a kid, it's a different dynamic of like, oh, there's somebody else in my world that, like, if I don't take care of them, they die. Like I kind of got to lead them in a direction because you got to eat. They got to not fall off things. Anyways, it's kids. I'm a parent now, right? And then I go to the next stage of like, I'm trying to lead at one point, not just my kid, but I was the senior on the football team. I had 19 linebackers. I don't know how it worked out, but most years there's always multiple seniors. My senior year in college, there were 20 linebackers. It was just me leading all these punk little kids, man. The little kids, man. We were all little kids, but they didn't listen. They didn't show up on time. And the coach left it on me because what you do as a senior linebacker, you make sure your unit is strong. Same for the family, same for everything. Same for the business you have, doesn't matter what it is. And I'm just, listen, I'm going to guide you through these things so you get it. And I'll come back to them as we kind of unpack today. Then from there, I progress on to leaving college and I go to the NFL. And the NFL is an interesting monster because quite literally how you lead yourself is what matters. If you show up in the NFL and think it's college, you'll fall apart because college is a place they kind of can't get rid of you. They gave you a scholarship as long as you don't, fail out of school. Like they got to keep paying for your school. You're there. NFL, they can literally sign you right now, have a contract that says you get $150 million a game and they can take it from you, have you sign it, bring it back here. They could tear it up in front of you and there's nothing that they can do about it. Like I can't do any unless there's guaranteed money, right? So the thing is, you have to lead yourself in a vastly different manner every single day, day in, day out, at disgustingly consistent levels to simply be able to keep your job, right? The way you lead yourself matters there. And then how you lead yourself with this unit and become part of this team, it matters. Again, progress past the NFL because it stands for not for long. You get in, you get hurt, you go home. And I went home. And so when I came home, I fell out of all sorts. I lost a very anchored part of my identity. Anytime you've been doing something for a long period of time, and you can attest to this. Think about that thing you did for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, no matter how many years you did it. And whether by choice or by chance, someday you woke up and you were not doing that thing anymore. This could have been the kids went to college, so you're an empty nester. It could have been you changed jobs, so you left this old area, went to a new area, and you don't really have a sense of confidence there. Maybe you decided to open a business, you went in a new direction somewhere. Maybe it was, something where it was by chance. You got hurt, left the military. Like I got hurt in college, NFL, and left the game of football, right? Chance or by choice, you're not doing it. You are met with the reality that you don't feel as confident as you did. Because now I don't have this thing to lean on. And so we're thrust back into this new world of like, how do I show up in a certain way? How do I get this next level of my life met? And this is, again, leadership type stuff, leader shifts. I got to a point where, to be quite honest, my life kind of came tumbling down. Everything that was Anthony came falling apart. And for a lot of years ended up in a fog, and I was no way leading my life properly. And then I got to January 1st, 2016. And in those moments, man, I woke up. It was New Year's Day. And I was laying next to, we're going to be honest in here. I don't always do these and share with you guys, but I'm going to be transparently honest. I might have told you, I might not have. I have no idea. But I got to this point where I woke up and I was laying next to a strange woman. I was divorced. Not she was strange. Like, wasn't like one that like I really was like in deep conversation, relationship with, just a woman that was there. I went in the bathroom and I looked in the mirror, and we had like, it's New Year's Eve. So you drink a little bit, you smoke some hookah and stuff. And I remember just waking up and having this incredibly deep level of shame. Like this man looking back at me, I did not have respect for, I didn't like, I would never, and I'd say this all the time, it was someone that I would not want my daughter to be with, anybody like me. I would not want my boys to be like me. My mom would never approve, and my God would never let me into heaven. I'd fallen so far from my faith in the middle of that. I was completely away from the place of leading myself and having the ability to lead other people. I was off in a wash. Now, I understand you are probably not in this place. To be quite honest, you're probably not. But I'll say this, sometimes we don't realize that we're in the middle of a tornado because you're in the eye of the tornado. You're around messing things up. You're blasting through things all day long, but the eye of the tornado feels calm. It's calm, I'm cool, collected, but you don't realize the damage you're doing to people outside because you just don't pay attention to it. It's a statement that I love. I recently heard, and it goes, it is hard to see the label when you are inside the jar. Sometimes we're unaware. So it's the truth. We got these things going on. So ideas like, okay, how do I get to the point of seeing this label and making adjustments? Well, I finally saw my label. I didn't like the label, and I had to lean into a space of saying, man, I want to fix my life. I'd made 2 promises to my mom that 1, I would fix my life. 2, I would help other people do the same at some point in time. Now, the first one, it's not so fun at all. The first one was I had to confess. Confess is the acceptance point. It's essentially saying, look, I am not perfect. How many people do you know that have said like, oh, I'm not perfect, but the moment that you point something out that's not perfect, they shut down. The moment you do, like, I'm not perfect. Okay, then, hey, Shirley, then why is it you can't figure out how to get the right shoes? Shut up. My shoes are great. Like, I'm just making something up right now. But you know what I'm talking about. It's funny when people will say that, but they don't actually confess that they've got to deal with this problem at hand. We have in place this thing called an ego. And it's an amazing thing. It can benefit us amazingly. Like, my ego protected the identity of a football player by eating right, training, lifting weights, going to practice on time, learning the playbook. That part was positive. However, it can also be EGO, everyone's greatest obstacle. It can show up in ways that force us to like protect the current identity, which is unable to lead us properly. Does this make sense? Because if I don't confess I got something to work on, I will never give myself permission to improve. It's a big one. And I'm telling you right now, I guarantee I have things to work on. I have a wife. She lets me know. And there's things we all got to work on. Am I perfect? Far from it. Have I done a lot of work? Yes. Will I continue to? Forever. I was actually at a BURCHARD event, and I heard Harvey McKay say this, and I love the statement. And what he said was, at the end of the day, the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. That has stuck with me beyond all things. I'm like, the moment that I believe I don't need more improvements, the moment I'm going downhill. And I can't be in a place of leadership in the position I am if I haven't continuously led myself. So the first thing is to confess there's almost consistently something to work on. And it's a beautiful thing, to be honest. Like, humans, we are actually, I believe, the happiest while in motion. Like, there's something to being in motion, in creation. Think about whenever you have the most like peaceful, separate from anxiety moments. It's when you're building, creating, working with your hands, out with the kids, like, driving a car. Maybe you're making something, singing, whatever it is. When you're in motion, there's magic there. There's a creation piece, and you can't get to that level of creation or motion until you've given yourself permission to be like, you know what? This is something that's got to be improved, and it's okay. So I'm giving you the ability to give yourself grace and say, look, I got to work on something. If I don't look in that mirror and go, dude, you suck, man. Like, you got to work on these things. I don't get better, because I think for me, one of the biggest realities that was really hard to accept, and hopefully you do this. If you haven't, you get a chance today to realize that you are the common denominator in all of your problems.
This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember and you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.